Hello everyone! First part of Kuguri's birthday special is here. Late. I know. Sorry about that. I had to finish it after work because, yeah, I returned a bit destroyed. Never mind. Part 1 out of 2. Part 2 coming sometime in the future. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch my videos. You are keeping this channel going and alive. Thank you so much, and I hope you will enjoy. The thing about birthdays was they weren't really a good thing. At least Kuguri tended to think so for most of his adult life. That also included celebrations. The last celebration, a real one which he imagined a birthday celebration looked like, happened when he was 15. His parents even took a day off back then to prepare everything so that he could come home to a cake and a few tiny but heartfelt gifts. He wasn't sure what had changed since then. He was grateful for everything his parents did for him that day, of course he was. And yet, no other celebration came after that, at least not from them. Perhaps he didn't show enough appreciation back then, and so his parents decided not to bother anymore. Or they just thought he was too old for cake and balloons. He didn't know. And in the end, he got used to it, ignoring all his classmates talking about the awesome parties and gifts they got, happy that at least his senpais or teammates remembered. He didn't even tell anyone when his birthday was when he became an adult. But now, things were different. He had his boyfriends, the people closest to him on par with his family. They were his family. Maybe he could allow himself to hope this time around. To hope he could celebrate his birthday with the ones he loved more than anything. Now? Everything okay? He snapped out of his thoughts, realizing he just spent at least 5 minutes staring at a blank page on his screen. Oh, yeah, everything is fine. Sorry. You've been spacing out a lot this week though. Are you sure it's all fine? You can tell us, you know that, right? Kuguri cracked a small smile, if only to erase the worried creases that appeared on Inuoka's brow. Since his kitchen mishap, he definitely couldn't complain about being overlooked. Both Yuki and So were on his case the moment he showed any sign of discomfort, no matter how brief or small. He appreciated that, more than anything in the world. But he would prefer if caring about him wasn't adding work on his boyfriend's backs. He bit his lip and hesitantly reached over the table to cover Inuoka's hand, suppressing the urge to pull away when he took note of the way Inuoka's eyes widened with the touch. I'm really fine, I promise. Just thinking. And hitting a block, I guess. After a brief second of hesitation, Inuoka flashed him a bright smile and squeezed his hand, immediately melting all the anxious ice that created around his heart. I guess this happens when someone has a sunshine for a boyfriend. Well, if it's just a writer's block what's on your mind, we can do something about that, right? A bit smaller hands squeezed Kuguri's shoulders. Sure thing. We can go for a walk. That could kick the wars going. A light, excited shiver ran down Kuguri's back, all possible scenarios running through his mind despite his initial instinct to keep his expectations low. He learned long ago that expecting anything was an easy way to setting himself up for a disappointment. But the memory of them celebrating Shibayama's birthday gave him hope. That sounds good. A kiss landed on his temple. Okay, then what are we waiting for? Inuoka, true to his nature, jumped up even before Shibayama finished the sentence, and Kuguri could swear he would wag his tail if he had one. Maybe Golden Retriever would be more fitting description. Despite the ruckus Inuoka caused in his excitement, he found himself smiling softly at his boyfriend, the familiar fond warmth wrapping around his heart. It was going to be fine. A great day. Definitely. However, as the hours went by, the strange tension in his shoulders grew on strength, tightening his muscles to the point of bursting. Of course, he didn't expect anything grand. He couldn't ask his boyfriends for that, not when they had more important things to worry about. But the evening was fast approaching, and there wasn't a single sign that they were planning anything for the day, or that they even remembered what day it was. Still, he tried to force those thoughts into the back of his mind as they slowly walked through the nearby park, dedicated to enjoying the precious moments of being together. That was important, right? Being together with the people he loved. And Yuki and So seemed to enjoy themselves on the walk, so why couldn't he? Stop, it's not the end of the day yet. But the closer they got to their home, the harder it was for him to mask the dull ache throbbing in his chest. Maybe I really shouldn't have put my hopes up. He shook his head in a desperate attempt to chase the thought away. Unless they told him to his face, he refused to believe his boyfriends would forget. They cared enough to remember his book's first release, his streaming schedule, so why would they forget his birthday? It wouldn't make sense. Unless... Some of the inner turmoil had to be visible on his face since Inuoka's smile suddenly fell when he looked at him. Now? Everything okay? Kuguri cringed inwardly when even Shibayama turned to him. He forced himself to even his expression and nodded. However, his voice hitched a bit when he tried to speak through his tightened throat. Yes, it's fine. I was just thinking if... He stopped, unsure how to continue. Speaking his mind meant coming off as ungrateful, demanding, rude. He didn't want that. His silence seemed to unnerve Inuoka even more though. If what? What's going on? Kuguri's mind raced, trying to find some excuse to get out of the knot his too fast mouth tied him into, while perhaps giving a hint to what was on his mind. If we are planning on going somewhere else. I mean, we can if you want. Or are you asking because you want to go home? No, I don't mind being out. I was just wondering if there's any plan. Shibayama shrugged. Not really. We are trying to relieve your block, remember? Oh. Right. His shoulders slumped before he managed to catch himself. But since both Shibayama and Inuoka were already turned away from him, it didn't really matter. Perhaps he really put his hopes too high. He excused himself to his streaming room the moment they arrived home, much to his boyfriend's confusion since he had no stream planned on that day. But he needed to think for a while, and the room was the only place in the whole flat dark and quiet enough to do so. It pained him to see Inuoka's face just before he closed the door behind him, the worry and confusion almost seeping from him. But at the same time, the dull ache slowly spreading through his chest didn't allow him to stay. Not right now. He slumped into his chair, rubbing his face with his palms. Why am I making such a big deal about it? It's just a birthday. They happen every year. Who cares? He didn't, at least up until last year. And now, even that little flicker of hope it ignited was causing him to suffer. Maybe all he did was just trying to convince himself he didn't care after all. He startled when his phone rang into the silence. Seeing the familiar contact flash on the screen, he hesitated for a second before accepting the call. Daisho-san? Hey Kuguri, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I'm sorry I didn't call earlier. I had to take care of some things and I didn't want to call you in a rush. Despite everything, a tiny hint of a smile appeared in the corner of Kuguri's mouth. It's alright. Thank you for even remembering. He sighed. You are probably the only one. Huh? Wait, I thought I would catch you in the middle of unwrapping presents. Is something going on? Kugure? I don't know. It just looks like Yuki and So forgot too. Wait, for real? That doesn't sound like them. Maybe they're planning a surprise for you? Yuki hates surprise parties. He said he would never do one either because it's always uncomfortable. He folded his head into his hands, his chest constricting. I don't know what to do. I don't want them to think I'm demanding or pushy, but I just thought since Did I put my hopes too high again? Hey, shh, nothing like that. Wanting your boyfriends to remember your birthday is not putting your hopes too high. Maybe you should talk to them about it, so they know what's going on. I don't want to make things awkward. More awkward than they are now? For that, Kugure had no answer. Daisho sighed softly. I can tell how down you feel because of it just from listening to you. Just talk to them about it so they at least know what's going on. If they really forgot, there's still time to make things right. And if they didn't, they can clear it up with you before you get hurt even more. And if they get upset? They won't, I'm sure of that. But if it makes you feel better to have a backup plan, you can always stay with us for a few days if things go south. Letting out a shaky breath, Kugure clutched the phone in his hand. He didn't want to do this, risk making his boyfriends upset with his questions. But Daisho was right. Things could get much worse if he let them be as they were. Okay. I'll talk to them. That's my boy. Don't worry about anything, okay? It's going to be fine. You'll see. Thank you, Daisho-san. For the wish too. Of course. Take care, okay? Call ended. Taking a few deep breaths to settle his racing heart, he hesitantly got up and headed back to the living room, finding his boyfriends working on things they usually would do in the evening as if nothing happened. Though a more careful look told Kugure some things were different. Inuoka perked up when he spotted him, but something about his movements screamed worry to Kugure. Now, is everything okay? You disappeared so quickly. Kugure bit the inside of his cheek, a light shiver running down his spine when he felt Shibayama's eyes on him too. I'm sorry. I needed to think about something. You're doing that a lot these days. What's going on? You know you can tell us, right? He knew. But knowing and acting up on it were two vastly different things. Can we talk then? Please? A short silence settled in the room, interrupted only when Shibayama walked to them from the kitchen and leaned on the table next to Inuoka. Of course. What is it? Now or never. Come on. I was just wondering if I did something to upset you. Inuoka furrowed his brow. Upset us? No, of course not. Why would you ask that? Then what did I do to make you not care? Not care about what? Now, what are you talking about? Did you forget my birthday? They both froze. Huh? Forgot? Despair bubbling in his chest and threatening to spill over every moment. Just tell me if you did. It's fine. I just want to know. I want you to tell me. Now that's... How can you think we forgot? I don't know what to think. I thought you cared about stuff like that when... His voice got caught in his clogged throat, the realization dawning on him more and more with every passing second. No... But you didn't even say anything the whole day. You went on as if nothing was different. And what is different then, huh? Kuguri paused. A lot was different. He had his partners now. Partners who usually cared. But not now, apparently. I thought you cared. He flinched when Shibayama crossed his arms over his chest and narrowed his eyes at him. And what makes you think we don't? Wasn't wrapping your hand for the last 2 weeks enough to show you that? Or supporting you streaming? Or writing? What else do you want to stop doubting all the time? Yuki, that's harsh. No, I want to hear it. We are doing our best and it's apparently still not enough to make you wait until 8 when you were born. Kuguri froze, an ice-cold hand gripping his heart and making it hard to breathe. And the shattered look in Inuoka's eyes wasn't helping either. So you... Yeah, we didn't forget. We thought you don't celebrate, so we had just something small in mind. I thought you would be grateful for that. But I guess you are too preoccupied with doubting everything to be. Yuki... Maybe you should think about it and tell us, you know? It's not that easy. Shibayama scoffed. Of course, nothing is easy with you. An invisible dagger pierced Kuguri's chest. Memories of the numerous times he had heard those exact same words flooding his mind and knocking the air out of his lungs. For a moment, no one said a word nor moved. And somehow, the silence stretched even when Shibayama sighed and turned on his heel to head to the door. Inuoka followed close behind, only quickly looking back at Kuguri as if to say something, but then closed his mouth and rushed after Shibayama. There is cake in the fridge. The usually quiet click of the main door sounded like a gunshot to Kuguri's ears. The floor swayed under his feet. The air was suddenly too thin to breathe. The room, so far very spacious, feeling like the tiniest cage pressing on him from all sides. How much did he just mess up? In just a few sentences. If Yuki and So didn't have doubts about him being part of their relationship before, they definitely had now. Perhaps it wasn't just doubts after this. Perhaps. He raked his fingers through his hair, realizing just how much his hands were trembling. This isn't true. It's just a bad dream. It has to be. Please be a bad dream. But he knew well it was just wishful thinking. He messed up, and now everything he cared about went crashing down. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm not sure when the second part is going to come out because, of course, I still didn't start working on it. I have outline. That's good, but I didn't start working on it yet. So probably after I come back from the vacation I have next week, I will have time to write there, so I will finish that and September and all that stuff. So no worries, part 2 will come at some point. I hope you are looking forward to it. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.